Good evening. Come on in. Come on in, roommates. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, roommates. Hello, hello. Good evening. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Trying to set up. Give me some thumbs up if y'all can hear me. I got these mics on because it's windy out here. And let's just see what we can get. Come on in. Happy Wednesday. Come on in. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Trying to pull up the comment section because I've not been able to see Facebook comments on the last couple of lives. And so I have my laptop today. Come on in. Can you guys hear me? Instagram, I don't even see you guys on my laptop. Let me see. Come on in. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Hey, Brown Fox. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. Hey, y'all. Facebook, can y'all hear me? Instagram, then already told me they can. Let me know if you can hear me. I see a couple of y'all on here. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, y'all? Ooh, it's been a magical last few weeks and then boom, back to reality. Come on in, y'all. I've been worried about Facebook. Can somebody comment on Facebook? Say good evening to your roommates if you can hear me. Instagram, let me know that they can hear me already. Hey, y'all. Phoenix, I might end up needing you, but let's see what we got. Come on in, y'all. We'll get started in just a moment. Just a moment. Hey, y'all. I missed y'all, actually, in the regular setting because I really have not left or went anywhere. I've been right here with you all. But the fact that I've been like on vacation and all of that good stuff. Can you guys Facebook help a girl out? Can you hear me? Phoenix, did you see any Facebook comments? Okay. Okay, y'all, we'll get started as soon as I can see any comments. All right, y'all. So it sounds like you all can hear me on Instagram, Facebook. I'll see your message, your chat in a moment if any of you guys comment, and then we'll go from there. But tonight, y'all, we are going to be talking about closure, right? Um, and so many people feel as if they cannot proceed or close chapters in their lives if they don't quote unquote get closure, right? And so today we are going to tap into that because sometimes those things, those apologies that you don't get, those things you don't hear about, the actions that you see, right? Sometimes those are really all of the closure. The actions are all of the closure that you really honestly need. Okay. And so tonight we're going to talk about that because I know I've been stuck personally and held on in relationships much longer than I should have just out of seeking closure. Right. Um, I mean, it is the right thing to do to have constructive conversations with people about where things are going in your relationships. And anything that I say tonight is specific to any relationship that you have. Every relationship that we're in it requires cultivation, it requires nurturing, it requires respect, it requires communication, it requires you to hear from the other person in the relationship. And so I don't want us to get tonight's conversation misconstrued with just romantic relationships, because all of our relationships should matter. And it is difficult, it is extremely difficult to try to figure out next steps in relationships when things just doesn't seem to align, and there seems to be turmoil and or toxicity that kind of keeps us in limbo when we're trying to figure out where are we going in this relationship, and is this relationship really meaningful, especially if betrayal has happened, if mistreatment has happened, right? And so before I go too far, y'all know that I got to get off into a biblical reference, just really to get us started. And so we're going to start in Proverbs 4:23. And it reminds us that above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And sometimes closure is protecting your heart from people who don't respect it. Okay. And so that is where we are. And quite frankly, I'm going to be honest. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of my Facebook friends and my roommates really kind of posting about those transitions that they are in their relationships. And though it seems difficult, though it seems like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get over this? Though it seems like everything is counting against you when things seem to be going left, I'm here to remind you today, roommates, to really just guard your heart against anything that has the propensity, or, I know sometimes I've been using all of these fancy words, but anything that has the, anything that could really count against you when you're putting your best foot forward. Okay. And so I see you guys Facebook, but I promise you, I cannot see y'all comments. And that really kind of, oh, okay. Thank you, Kiki. I see your comment. Thank you, my love. And so, yeah, so Proverbs is reminding us, guys, to guard our heart, because everything flows from it. Somebody sent me a message today, and they said to me, you, despite the things that you've gone through, you really do have like a different outlook. And no matter what you've gone through, your heart haven't hardened. And the easy fix to that, there's no real remedy other than God and the word of God that keeps me rooted and grounded and really wanting to treat people well, because that's what we should be doing, right? And so don't let your circumstances harden your heart. And if you don't get the closure that you deserve, that you desire, that you long for, don't go blaming yourselves, roommates. Don't do that, because sometimes people will be adamant about not providing you with closure simply because they want to uh, evoke some sort of reaction out of you, one, or two, they really want to see you, they want to see you squirm in what you guys are going through. And so I want you all to be extremely, Phoenix, one of our phones is ringing and it's on Do Not Disturb, so that must be one of our favorites calling. But what I want you guys to know and understand is that this too shall pass, and that things will work out in your favor. And so we're going to go through a few things about what closure is, what closure is not, and how you can get closure even when the person you're in relationship with don't offer you that, or don't even care enough to see you have that closure. Again, because sometimes, honey, they just want to see you squirm. Okay. And so today we are going to stop offering up explanations. We're going to stop begging for understanding, and we're going to stop begging for apologies, right? From people who do not value us. Guys, I cannot say this enough. Though closure doesn't always come wrapped in an apology, sometimes it's disguised in those very things that you see that are very evident, right? So closure comes wrapped up in, and drop in the chat, how can you attain that closure, right? Even when a person is adamant about not apologizing. So while you drop it in the chat, we are going to uh, make sure I can see y'all comments, because I did just see something pop up. But we are going to make sure that we can get past this stuff. Okay. I'm trying not to be distracted, y'all, but I really do want to see y'all comments, because so many of you all are really kind of trying to navigate all of the things that's going on. But I don't think I see anything on Instagram. I mean, on Facebook. Hey, old faces 1030. My boy Martini, that's my guy. And so sometimes, right, the closure that you're looking for, even if you don't get it, it comes disguised as disrespect, silence, or dishonesty. And that's really enough for you to start to reflect and say, listen, do I really even want to deal with this? Right? Am I in a spot or in a space where I want to deal with someone disrespecting me time and time again? So what I would like for you guys to do, if you can, is find peace in your situations that you need closure in. Okay. And the way that you find peace is you stop replaying those things that hurt you in your head. I know that's easier said than done, roommates. I really do. But what I also know is from firsthand is that we have to stop doing that negative self-talk that keeps us bound to situations and in situations that are designed to kind of tear us down and not have us in the best headspace. All right. And honestly, what you really need to understand is that in closure, sometimes you can see it in the proper way. And the proper way is sitting down, having a conversation. Someone may give you kind words. Someone may even give you that formal goodbye. But when you don't get that, what do? And this is a question that's posed to you guys, and you can put it in the chat. What is it that you do when the closure lacks a formal goodbye, but it's also so loud with disrespect, the refusal of an apology, and that lack of accountability? Okay? What you guys got? So as we unpack this tonight, we are going to find ways to not get stuck, right? Waiting for that closure that may never come. I can tell you in the last few years, there has been quite a few relationships that I had no choice but to walk away from. And it did not come with a formal sit down, a formal, you know what, I don't appreciate the way that you're treating me now. Don't get me wrong. You say those things as it is happening, right? You should be letting a person know exactly how you feel as things are getting bad or going from bad to worse, when it seems like the communication is just non-existent. Okay. And so you really should be expressing that before it gets too late. But when it comes to that place where things are just not where you want it to be, you don't sit and get stuck in a spot where you're waiting on closure. Also, how is it that you accept that you didn't get a chance to give that farewell, or you didn't get that farewell? How does that make you feel? I see you guys. I just cannot see y'all comments. Okay, I do. Hey, Shamika, how are you? I do see y'all comments. And so Shamika is saying, just let go. And yes, that's the bottom line, right? We are letting go, but in the letting go, how do you process the fact that you've spent time, you spent energy, you've spent effort trying to be with someone and even trying to hold on to that very relationship that didn't mean you any good? How then do you let go, but what does the closure look like for you? And why is it that we crave closure so much? That's a better question. Is it for peace of mind? Um, I know I used to be big on closure. I'm talking about big. Whether it was me that was closing out, or whether it was someone else that needed to provide me with closure, right? Um, And so Shamika said it doesn't mean you don't care for them anymore. You just know that you deserve more and no longer willing to tolerate the disrespect. The disrespect, when the disrespect is so loud, it will eventually run you out the door without you getting that closure that you think you want, because it becomes intolerable. It becomes something that the body, the mind, and the soul either accepts and dwindle in, or does not accept, and then you crave it and you want it the more because you feel like, listen, I've given this person my time, I've given this person my energy. Why is it that you can't give me the respect of either treating me better, right? Either treating me better, or at least giving me a real apology. I think it's the apology piece of things that sometimes that make us get stuck. Okay. The truth about closure, guys, is some people don't even care enough. Some people literally do not care enough to provide you with closure. You know why, roommates? The reason that some people do not care enough to give you closure is because they want to see you stuck. They want you chasing your own tail and running behind them and saying, you know, I deserve better. You know, I did X, Y, and Z. Newsflash, roommates. And I'm getting better with this. And it took me a long time, and I'm not going to lie. It took me a very long time to get to this space today. And I'm still, with some people, I'm still a little shocked at the disrespect. I'm still a little shocked at the disconnection, because you pour so much time and you pour so much energy into trying to make the relationship work to begin with. Okay. Hey, roommates, I see y'all now. I'm so happy I can see y'all comments. It's been driving me crazy. Okay. And Liz is saying hallelujah. And so when a person doesn't care enough to give you closure, that's when you got to go to God, honey. And that's when you got to go within the depths of your esteem, right? Your self-esteem. Understand what your self-worth is, and not allow someone to drag you because they know that that's the last piece of dragging that they can do. Because I'm going to tell you, people will drag that little thing out when you are seeking closure, just because they know that that is the last piece of the path before you close this chapter in your life. And so some people will purposely pretend to not care. And when I say pretend, I mean that, because you know what you've done and who you've been in people's lives, and they know what you've done and what you've been in their lives. So don't let people strip you of your you being an asset, because you want no liability all that time they decided to stick around. It wasn't until you wanted to hold them accountable that they decided to, oh, okay, I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna minimize your feelings. I'm gonna reject your advances. I am going to silence your cries. But in the meantime, while they're intentionally trying to tear you down because they no longer care, and again, I'm going to always deviate and say it's not that they don't care, it's that they're trying to evoke something from you that you haven't given them. They understand what you are to them. They understand what type of asset you are. When you are in a relationship as an asset and not a liability, and you are showing up for people, you don't never have to fret about how they're going to move in your life. You really honestly could and should be sleeping peacefully when you know that you've given your all and you ain't done nothing to betray nobody. Okay, so I don't want you guys to get stuck at the fact that people are failing to validate your feelings, because I'm here to tell you, roommates, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are extremely valid. And when people refuse, or the person that you are in relationship with refuse to validate your feelings, that's when you got to rely on your circle. That's when you have to rely on those people who provide you your safe space, because we all need reassurance. Let's be very clear. I told you guys last week, I don't care how confident I show up, I am still human. I still have feelings. I still go through bouts of depression and not feeling my best. I still go through. So I'm a living testimony that no matter how much knowledge that you have, no matter how much wherewithal that you possess, no matter how no matter how much of an asset you are to your community, to your partner, in your friendships, when a person is out to prove a point that I'm going to be done with you regardless whether you want it or not, roommates, listen, take heed. Take heed to the person who is unwilling to really help you kind of cultivate what it is that you need to know about staying or leaving that relationship. The closure does not have to come from a formal sit down and I love you. You didn't do anything wrong. I apologize if this didn't work. We want that. I know, right? I know we want that, roommates, but that doesn't mean we're going to get it. And with understanding that you're not going to get it, you better prepare yourself. You better prepare yourself on how to respond and how to navigate that closure that you deserve. Okay. And so, I'm seeing yes in the chat. I am seeing, that you all are agreeing with each other. Another way that we can find closure is by knowing yourself, believing a person the first time. Believe them when they show you, and definitely believe them when they tell you. Disrespect shows up in more than words. Disrespect shows up in disregard. Disrespect shows up in minimization. You go and tell somebody, I don't like the way this makes me feel, and they turn it on you, or they tell you you overreacting or something like that. That's disrespect. The best way to handle your person in a relationship, no matter who they are, is if and when they bring something to you and like, listen, that wasn't cool for you to say this. You are making me feel this way. I feel less than. The way to address that with care. Remember, we're speaking with care and without care. The way to address that with care is to simply say, well, those wasn't my intentions. Don't turn it around on the person who is expressing that they need that validation or that reassurance in the relationship. Don't turn it on them and say things like, well, that's on you. Or if you didn't do such and so, I wouldn't do such and so. Because what we have to do is be mindful of the way that we treat one another. And we have to be mindful of the things that it takes to be in relationship with specific people. Everybody requires a different type of interaction. There's no recipe, no one size fit all when it comes to relationship. The way that I have to engage with my man is a different way that I have to engage with my children. It's a different way that I have to engage with my friend group. Like, all of those things look different, but even beyond the friend group and the groups of people, it also have to be more individualized, because the way that I deal with one kid or one friend may not be the way that I deal with another friend or another kid. So we definitely have to believe in ourselves, and we have to stand in our values and in our truths, and not allow those external factors, including the people that you are in relationship with, to have you to believe that you are not worthy of being respected, right? And so I have, hey cousin, I have Shamika going further and saying her grandfather said that when a person shows you who they are, believe them. Action is everything. Roommates, when they show you and when they tell you, you had better listen, even in the silence, because silence is an answer. When a person is refusing to respond to your cries, when a person is refusing to respond to how you are preferencing the way that you rather be treated, when they're minimizing it, when they're rejecting it, and they want it to fit what they want it to fit, and they don't have, many times when people do you like that, it's either for one or two reasons. It's either because they truly have some sort of disdain, or they don't like you in some capacity and they want to find a way to humble you. Y'all hear me say that often, because people will try to find a way to humble you. And so if you love them enough and you're continuing to pursue the relationship when the relationship has come to its end, and when the relationship is just not thriving at all, and it has more cons than pros, then you are in a situation where now you're stuck and left to, who am I choosing? Am I choosing myself, or am I choosing this other person? Please know that silence is an answer. Once you give someone the recipe to be in a relationship with you, and they refuse to pick up on the cues, they refuse to hear your cries, they refuse to sit down and at least try to compromise so that everybody is comfortable in the relationship. When the relationship lacks all of that, that is when disrespect is blaring and it is loud. And even if they don't say a word, the fact that they are choosing, it's a choice. The fact that they are choosing to disregard you once you've expressed what you need from them is really closure enough. Okay, so silence is an action. Hey, my sisters, Nita and Raquel, thank y'all for joining. I know y'all been out there working on behalf of the community. Thank y'all. I love y'all. And then another myth about closure is the indifference, the indifference of it all. We are all different. We all respond differently. So because another person was able to um another person was able to maybe take what it is that they, I was I was watching something. I'm always in watching something, y'all. Educational, that is. And I was watching this documentary. Um, Unfortunately, it was kind of like a true crime documentary. So of course it ended in some stuff where people being unalived and all of that stuff. But what one of the people who was speaking was saying is that, all she really wanted to do was she wanted to be heard, and she just wasn't being heard, and slowly but surely she was losing her sanity. And so what I'm here to tell you, roommates, is that the indifference is actually really all of the information that you need. And I say that because when you've said enough and the actions haven't changed at all or just a little bit, then that's all you really need to hear, or all you really need to know when it comes to that relationship and seeking that closure. So tell me this, guys. Um, how is waiting for an apology or an explanation from someone you're in relationship with, or someone that you're really seeking closure from? How is it that waiting on that apology, how does that drain you? Drop it in the chat. How does that become draining for you? I have learned to put myself above other people, because otherwise could and would cost me and you your sanity, right? And so it doesn't mean, again, disregard of someone else's feelings. It just means that if you're showing up in a relationship, you're doing and have given everything that you can, and then it continues to be a lack of respect and just a hard, stand that I ain't apologizing and I'm not doing anything. How is it that waiting on that apology or an explanation for what someone has done to you, how is that draining? And why is it draining? Let me hear from you guys. And so the freedom of closing doors on people that don't give you closure, the freedom in that is that you're starting to take a stand for yourself. And I'm seeing y'all comments, okay? You've been there and you've done that. Yeah, tell me a little bit about it though, Liz. You've been there and you've done that, right? You're man, I have stood in the gap with people just literally saying, can you tell me what can I do to make this better? What can we do to make this work? And when you are the only one speaking that language, roommates, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to find yourself in a very dark place. You're going to find yourself really, really just becoming exhausted at the thought of it all. Okay, so Raquel says it becomes draining at the fact that a person knows what they did was wrong and they will sit in your face and carry on like nothing has happened. That's disregard, Raquel. That's disregard. I won't even call it, I mean, of course, all of these terms that I use are fine lines across from one another. Disrespect, disregard, minimization. Like all of these things are really fine lines between one another. But I do agree with the fact that it's draining because you won't even admit there's no accountability at all. And Tasha Mack just entered the chat. And what did she say as I was saying it out my mouth? People do not like to take accountability. But I would love for you guys, because some of you all are just joining us, I would love for you guys to drop in the chat, what do you do when what do you do when you've done all that you can? You know that they haven't taken accountability, and you know that they are wrong, but then they just still won't do shit about it. So what are you doing? Are you simply just walking away, or is there a process? Okay, I would love to hear that. I was listening to another podcast, and Jada Kiss was on there. That's one of my favorite rappers, by the way, y'all. And he been spitting that good stuff since the early '90s in them raps and stuff. And he simply said that never let your emotions supersede your intelligence. Y'all just said it. Y'all just said it in the chat. Because here's the thing. We know what we know. That's the knowledge. That's the knowledge base. So in knowing what we know, we should not be allowing our emotions to tell us otherwise. Thus, not allowing people to play in our face, right? And so we really have to work on ourselves and pray our way out of it, is what Liz is saying. Self-esteem, values, morals, and confidence in what you've been in relationships will have you better equipped to gain that closure that another person refuses to give to you. Because I've left major relationships, and I'm sure you have too, where a person offered up nothing but blame on me. And in that, you have to sit back, you have to reflect, and you have to understand that, listen, I'm not going to let this take me out. I'm not going to let this drain me of my sanity. Y'all know y'all deserve better, especially when you've done better and done good by people. Okay? I got people saying, move on in peace. Move on in peace, because, honey, if they ain't going to grant it to you, then you gotta go out there and just take it for yourselves. I tell y'all all the time, peace is something you possess. Roommates, do not be depending on external factors, on people, on situations, on circumstances to bring you peace. I hear guys more than girls say, I just need you to be my peace. And that's cool. That's cool. But are you willing to be your partner's peace? Are you willing to be your sister's peace? Are you willing to be your brother's peace? Are you willing to be a peacemaker at the table? And many people are not roommates. Many people are not. And if you are that person that is keeping a person bound, refusing to apologize, taking a person through the ringer after you've already hurt them, shame on you. Shame on you. Because I tell people all the time, don't play, hey, Daphne, I love you too. Don't play victim when you really are the villain. Choose your V's wisely. Either you're going to be a victim or you going to, and I hate the V word. I hate the victim word because people overutilize it. It's an overstimulation. But I'm going to tell you, don't go treating people bad, thus the villain, and then turn around and try to make it seem like someone has wronged you. If you don't do nothing in your life, roommates, in your relationships, do all that you can to cultivate and nurture that relationship, and also to do everything that you can to bring about understanding your point of view to that relationship, so a person doesn't have to wonder, dibble and dabble, so they're not in a space where they are, that they don't know completely what it is that you want. Okay? You have to be extremely, extremely careful with all of those things. Son at the gate. And so I want you all to really, really understand that. Okay? All right, cool. So sometimes a person won't apologize, but their actions change. However, if you're not getting either, your time is up. I agree with that. When a person realizes your worth, when a person realizes who you are to them and who you've been to them, if they value you enough, they will. If they value you enough, they will change sometimes without even really saying too much, because guess what? You've said enough. You've said enough. And in you saying enough, it has been in that, it's just like, okay, I've said enough, and either they hear you or they don't. Okay. And so you guys are cutting up and I love it. And so no one's going to love you better than yourself besides God. That's true. That's true. But Liz, I still challenge us to move towards self-closure. And that's where I'm at, guys. And so if we can't get closure from the person that we are in a relationship with, here are some things we do to provide ourselves with closure. Okay. And so what you have to do, y'all ready? What you have to do, right? I need y'all to tell me, how do you provide yourself with closure? How do you provide yourself with closure in situations that are no longer suiting you? And so one of the things is recognizing the signs. We talked about this a moment ago. They showed you who they are. Okay. And the fact that a person has shown you who they are, that is enough closure. What they say, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, I can't put the blame on you. It's on me. It's on me because you've already shown me. So one of the first things we can do with attaining self-closure is recognizing exactly a person for who they are. Not the potential them. We ain't going off potential. Okay, I'm gonna need somebody to come around here and be an accountability partner. I hold you accountable, you hold me accountable, and I'm gonna need you to be potential already. Okay, I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm not going off, oh my God, this person is so kind, this person is so sweet at times, and they have so much potential. but they haven't shown you the potential. They haven't moved towards the potential. Potential is a delusion because potential could happen. The potential that they can be great could happen, and the potential that they cannot be so great could happen. So it can go either way. It's just wishful thinking. Now, we all have made those excuses. Oh, they got potential. Potential to do what? Break your heart? Potential to do what? Destroy your character? Potential to do what? Be the demise of you? Potential to do what? Be a better person? If they're going to be a better person, they're going to be a better person without your input. I ain't never needed a lesson, roommates, and I hope this applies to you too. I am a teachable person. I am a person with a lot of knowledge who has a mentor. I'm going to tell you just like this. I ain't never needed no person to tell me or remind me how to do and be good to others. Either you going to be good to people or you ain't. And being good to people, a part of that is being accountable to your actions. When you know you done some foul shit, admit to it and apologize about it. But that's where many of us lack art. That's where many of us differ. That's where many of us differ. Okay? And so, oh boy, y'all cutting up. Okay, I got my sister Daphne said we cannot rely. Oh shoot, let me get your comment, Daphne. We cannot rely on people for our peace and happiness. The same applies when it comes to closure. Let it go and let God. I agree. We speak in the same language system. Boss Lady Angie is saying, I used to think I needed closure, but I feel like it prolongs the inevitable. That's poetic, okay? It prolongs the inevitable. I check and make sure I did all I could. I make sure I've expressed myself properly and in the way they could understand. Once I've reflected and analyzed and made sure I've done everything that I could do, I'm done. Mentally, I let go. Listen, that is some of the best advice you can give yourself. You can give our roommates, and hell, you can even give me, because I know that to be true. When you've done all that you can, the only thing left to do is to let go. But even before then, the part about prolonging the inevitable, baby, we know it's over before it's over. You ever woke up one day and you literally just maybe sat in the middle of the bed and cried or not and said, baby, I can't do this no more. And though it may take a time to process out, it is up to you to grab hold of and keep hold of your sanity. You cannot allow that to prolong the inevitable, and you cannot allow it to stifle your growth when you've outgrown the situation, when you've outgrown the crowd, when you've outgrown the mate. Okay? And so oh man, we are planning, we are reflecting, we are analyzing our own actions in the situation. This is Shamika. She's checking and making sure that she's did all that she could. Same, just the same poetic song, and I love it. Right? So we're reflecting, we're making sure we've expressed ourselves properly. We're doing all of those things, but I'm gonna put a little icing on the cake. We are also not making excuses for other people's behaviors. We are not making excuses for other people's actions. We are holding them accountable, even if we can't do it to themselves, directly to the person whom we need to hold accountable. Okay? So we're reclaiming our power, and you're saying, I don't need no apology. I don't need no apology. I'm good. You done dogged me out enough. And when I say dogged, I ain't, again, all of these words I'm using are interchangeable with any word you want to drop in there. But you have done me wrong enough. especially when I've given my all and I've pleaded to you. I'm gonna tell you, I've done some pleading. Oh, baby, I've done some pleading. Not somebody that baby Liz then sent me some stars, and this is my very first set of stars. I don't even know what that means. But Liz, I am thankful, my love. I don't even know what that means, but I research it and it's on there. And y'all can send me stars. Y'all can share this live. Um, Baby, Facebook has told me that they have expanded our reach because of the content that we are putting out. So roommates, just know we are not doing this in vain. You know, sometimes the enemy try to tap into my head and say things to me like, ain't nobody listening to you. What are you doing this for? Blah, blah, blah. But every time he tries to creep in, God kick him on down, back down to the pits of hell where he belongs. And I get a DM, I get a call, I get a message. I don't know what last week's message done for y'all, but I'm thankful that it done all that it did, because we got more shares, more views than any show that we've done since I've been doing this. And so roommates, I'm thankful. Thank you for the stars. Y'all, okay, now y'all send the stars. I'm gonna look it up. I'm thankful. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Okay, so in the self-closure, we are recognizing the signs. We're recognizing them for exactly for who they are. We are accepting the disrespect as the final word. Baby, you done enough. You done said enough. I hear you clearly. This is it. This is all. It is what it is. Because one thing you ain't gonna do is fight that inevitable. When that thing is slated to end, that thing gonna end. And to the point one of our roommates made earlier, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And sometime a person will wake up, just like you wake up and say, I'm not doing this no more. Another person will wake up and say, if they value you enough, they would say, I ain't about to do my people like this no more. I ain't finna do this person like that. This person has been really good to me. I remember, guys, when I was in one of the lowest points of my life, and I was trying to figure things out. I had a relationship that I had been in for many years that was coming to an end. I had lost my grandmother. I was just in limbo between jobs. I had not grieved my grandmother properly. I was getting ready to take my state exam to become licensed. I was doing a lot of things, but my mind wasn't no good, y'all. I was just at the lowest of the low. It was probably one of my lowest valleys in my adulthood. And I remember I had done all the pleading and the crying that I could, begging for, for to be understood, and really wanting to be understood and not wanting to let go of my relationship. And I remember the person telling me, when one day they called me and they couldn't get me, and then so they turned around and called my best friend, and she like, I don't know where she is. I was in one of those really low places, and I had really woke up and was like, I'm not taking this no more. I deserve better. I need to be in a better place than where I'm at, because mentally I was all over the place, and I was depressed. It was horrible. Okay. And so I was like really non-responsive to this person for weeks. And I remember when the person finally got me on the line or got me in person, they probably pulled up on me, and they were like, well, what is so different now? And that's when it hit me, y'all. That's when it hit me like a ton of bricks, that you like mistreating me. You like disrespecting me. You like making me feel like shit. You like telling me that I ain't this and I ain't that and that I ain't gonna be nothing without you. When you are around people that thrive off of your hurt and your pain and your downfall and wishing that you ain't gonna be nothing without you and telling you those things, baby, you better reevaluate that system, that situation, and run for the nearest border. But I remember looking at that person and telling them, you really do. You like this. You like to disrespect me. You like to disregard my feelings. You like to not be held accountable. And in that moment, y'all, I knew what Angie just said, that it was over. Though I lingered around a little bit more, ain't gonna front, ain't gonna stunt. But baby, I knew that it was the beginning of the end. I knew that it was the beginning of the end because I saw that this person was taking pleasure in my pain. When someone is taking pleasure in your pain, baby, you better come up with an exit plan. You had better come up with an exit plan quick because you will destroy yourself trying to hold on to those people. Okay? Um, what's that saying? If they wanted to, they would or wouldn't. You have to let a person do what they want to do so that you can see what they'd rather do. You got to. You got to let a person be free to be themselves because otherwise they are going to stick around and they are going to tear you to smithereens. On Instagram, they're saying, choose you. Also, when it's over, recognize that and deal with it in a healthy manner, such as bowing out gracefully. Ain't nothing like bowing out gracefully because you confuse the enemy. Because once a person shows you who they are and they are on assignment to tear you down, to humble you, to bring you down a few notches, that is someone that is drilling a hole in the boat as you're trying to row and get along and move along. It is then your responsibility to recognize the disdain, to recognize the disrespect, to recognize everything that enemy is trying to do for you. And it's time for you to put on that breastplate, baby, and that helmet for your defenses and prepare yourself for your exit. Okay? All right, roommates, we closing out. We headed to our closing segment. So boundaries with moving on. How do you stop reopening rooms and check it in? Hear me out. How do you stop reopening the rooms? Okay. What are we doing to stop reopening the wounds? Come on, roommates. Y'all are doing a hell of a job. Remove yourself from the situation. Disconnect any and all connections. Okay? We own the sump. What else are we doing to stop reopening those wounds, roommates? Of course, we're setting boundaries. You know we're setting boundaries. That's without a doubt. Okay? But what are we doing to stop reopening those wounds that you are seeking closure for? Because we really do it to ourselves. We hurt ourselves, right? And so we really have to be very careful. A few things that we need to stop doing is stop checking in, stop being available, stop making yourselves available to the person who has wronged you and to the person who is choosing not to be held accountable for their actions and choosing not to change their actions. Okay? Stop stalking people's social medias, roommates. Baby, listen. I ain't going nowhere near it. Baby, I'm clumsy. I've been and hit a like button. I ain't going nowhere near no woman's Instagram, no man's Instagram. Y'all can have it. I believe you. If you say you're happy, social media say you're happy. Okay? It don't mean it. I ain't fucking with y'all. Y'all can have it all. Okay? And then you making sure that you ain't always making yourselves available, right? And hoping that they'll come around. I subscribe to this recipe. If we are on the outs and I'm trying to get closure that you refuse to properly give to me, when you walk in the room, I'm walking out. That's what I'm on. What Sister Daphne say? We protecting our peace at all costs. We ain't playing victim. We getting up out of there. We getting up out of there. That's it. All right? We got to show ourselves some compassion. We have to forgive ourselves. And don't blame ourselves for waiting so long. But once you recognize you got to get up out of there, roommates, you got to get up out of there. Stand in it and get yourself up out of there. Okay? Um, and so their silence speak the truth, right? When they refuse to hear you. And closure is a door that you get to close from the inside. You get to close off anything that you don't want to expose yourself to. You are the captain of your ship. You are the leader of your life. When a person refuses to give you something that you long for, you have the right to go and get it yourself. You don't have to sit back and wait for somebody to give you something. They don't deserve to have you in limbo like that. They just don't deserve you to have you in limbo like that. Okay? Um, and so I'm gonna give you guys some practical takeaways, and then we're gonna do closing segment and we up out of here. This is the second week in a row, y'all. We done went from day to night, but that's all right. I feel like it's a little lighter here. So let's get ready to close out. Okay. So roommates, I want to challenge you to do something. This is one of the practical takeaways. I want to challenge you to do something. If you are seeking closure from someone you've spent time with, someone that you've given your all to, someone that if you had your way, you'd be with them because you'd rather be with him or her, or in the friendship, or, still be alongside those people that you grew up with. But in the event that you don't get that, let me tell you something that you can do, and something that has helped me tremendously on this journey of peace, on this journey of healing, on this journey of self-worth, on this journey of not seeking approval to be okay. Let me tell you something that you can do for yourself. Write yourself, and yes, I said, write the apology yourself, or the explanation that you wish you received, right? Write it out. Write that out. Read it to yourself, and then remind yourself, I gave this to myself so I could stop waiting for them. Burn it, shred it, or keep it on file as your final word to your exit and your closure from that relationship. All right? Let me give you guys a closing Bible verse, and then my closing statement. And then we up out of this piece. Y'all have been dynamic tonight, and I love y'all for it. Okay? And so, our Bible reference in closing is gonna come to us. That's a good one, y'all. It's gonna come to us from Matthew 7:6. And it reminds us, do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. Roommates, stop offering up explanations. Stop begging for apologies. Stop wishing that you were understood when you know that you have put your best foot forward. Stop losing your value and your self-worth because someone else cannot see that in you, though you've been that for them. Roommates, when I speak these words, I am teaching myself alongside you. And I want you to know that closure is something that you can attain without the permission of the person you are looking for it from. The lack of respect, roommates, is the closure. The lack of an apology is the closure. The lack of care is the closure. The lack of honesty is the closure. And last but certainly not least, roommates, the lack of accountability and the blaring disregard is all the closure you'll ever need. Stop waiting for them to show up. Stop waiting for them to hand you your peace on a silver platter. Stop waiting for them to give you something that they themselves don't even have the capacity to give you nor themselves. Roommates, I love you guys so much because you guys are a constant reminder of why God is using me. I thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night. I shall enjoy my fireplace and fire pit at this moment. I love you guys so, 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 so much. Good night, roommates.